This topic is the big topic about science versus religion. It's something that's been debated a lot. Welcome to the School of Mike, and today I'm going to use the treatise model to explain my view on the big idea about religion versus science. Because I believe that the experience of the top circle, like if we look into the treatise circle, the top experience here, the experience of being alive and being without knowledge and without thinking, as would be in this part, and here we would have like the external things about ourselves. So I would say that the experience of having this oneness that comes with the top segment of the treatise model. Okay, here's my never mind. That's the one from last video. Okay, the top circle represents what I say is the root of religion, and also the root of human intelligence and creativity and the original state that we were in when we were born. As I've told you before, this is created along the way, and eventually we can sort of lose connection almost to the original state that we were in when we were born. The knowledge centrum, or the knowledge realm, is very important for us in order to survive from day by day. That's like our results of the trial and errors that we faced as we have lived through the years and have just developed our minds. Today, to give my view, as I said, about how religion and science, how they're not really in opposition of each other. The problem with people that think they're in oppositions is that they have the wrong perspective on what religion is and what science is. As I just said, I believe that human beings have this is like, as I said before, inside of our minds, and this would be outside, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 senses that connects our inside with outside. And as we're born, we only have an empty space, because this is the top circle is always the hardest one to define, but it is the most important one. Like it's almost as though this is like a scale of importance, that we have important up here and like not so important down here. And then the toughest one, the things of the most value to us are the things that we have the hardest time to define. And I believe then that as a human being we have the capacity to erase and to look outside of the realm of knowledge in order to see the root experience of being a human being. And this experience, this oneness, would be the root cause and the root philosophy of every religion. Now the problem becomes here when the experience is not, you're not able to explain the experience, but you can only experience the experience. The problem is that the religion is only an explanation. So we have these prophets and mystics that experience through prayer is a good way, or meditation, or just spontaneous near-death experience. It can happen anytime that you sort of let go of your, like a big crisis in your life, or perhaps when you're exercising really hard, when you're dancing and chanting and all these things. You can disconnect yourself from the realm of knowledge that you've built up over the years, and then experience the higher thoughts, or the original thoughts, I would almost say. Like these are the thoughts that we have as young children, and the reason why our childhood is magical and full of life is because this area is not really disconnected yet. So growing up is to gain this part of your mind, but eventually you would have to connect these two, and then you'd be more complete as a human being. To sum it all up, I firmly believe, and I'm really convinced, really, because I'm brought up in a church environment and I've studied many different philosophies of mystical traditions. When I look into them, the common thread of it all is that people go within themselves to experience something that they can't explain. And that would be represented by the top circle in the treatise model. Then what happens is that you cannot, if you can't catch the oneness or the eternities or the present moment, as you can describe this in many ways, you can only frame like different frameworks or systems to handle the ultimate then truth or reality, but the framework becomes complex, and it's really weird and tough how to grasp, how to understand what they're talking about in these old scriptures and all that. So what you use is the metaphorical and mythical characters in order to clothe your principles, and then to have these characters act out the core idea of it all. For instance, I'm fully convinced that the story of Jesus is a highly symbolical piece of scripture and has nothing, for me, it has nothing to do with the literal reality. For me, it's not even interesting if Jesus was alive or not. But if you look at it as almost like a Disney story, you can find layers of wisdom that's clothed between the lines and in the story, where the ultimate one is the crucifixion of yourself, which would be then Jesus. And my interpretation of crucifixion is that the thing that you believe about yourself, which would be this realm, is the crucifixion. I hope you followed along, because I think that my name is Michael. I think that I'm an engineer. I think that I'm a human being. I'm a man, a Swedish dude that tries to speak English. And all these things are collected in the things that I've collected over my 35 years as I've been alive. So here I have 35, and here's when I was born. And over the years, I've collected many aha experiences through my 5 senses that have been connected. I'll talk more about this just in a second. But the information that comes in gets connected with the creativity, which I consider to be found here. So we have this is the enabling force to connect the things, and then they fall down into rationality in like a cause and effect kind of system. So the crucifixion would be, this is also in some traditions called ego. The ego. The crucifixion would be to kill yourself. But if you look into the New Testament, into these stories, you would have to move like okay, here's another example. The story about the New Testament is explained in a literal, like a physical aspect, okay? But these physical stories are poetry for something greater. This is how I look at it. In a sense, you can say that I'm an atheist because I don't believe in the traditions literally. I believe in them symbolically, or when I look at them symbolically and poetically, they make sense. If I try to force myself that they are literally true, it doesn't make sense. You can't be dead for 3 days and then wake up and yada yada. So the way to approach religion is to, of course, to learn the system that the framework is around, but then to listen to what's beneath it all. And I'm fully convinced that the whole purpose of every like tradition or religion we have, even the old Norse traditions, and wherever you want to, they are how should I say this? There's people over the years that have learned to journey in their own mind, to crucify their ego and let go of the realm of knowledge that they've collected over the years, and then they can see the root experience of why they are alive, and the why. This is also why, the answer to why, the why question, because it's a great feeling of being alive. So by doing this, you can experience the root, and that is the root experience of every religion that we can have. And I want you to prove me wrong in this aspect, so send me some ideas and I will try to fit them together into this theory. Now I see that the time ran out, so I'll do a second part about science. That will be the next video. I will record it right away. And remember that I do this because I like it.